Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how to build a piece of furniture on Revit. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to create a new family file, and then you're going to want to select the type of file. So I'm building furniture, so I'm going to build a furniture file, which will open a blank furniture file. Um, the piece I'm going to be building today is this table right here. And I downloaded the tear sheet and got a pretty good image of it that I can import into my Revit file. But I think this will be a good challenge and hopefully not terribly difficult. We'll see. I haven't actually tried this yet. So first I'm going to import my image file, which is fine. We don't want it to be visible in projects. This is the image. Okay, so there's my table. That's got a really nice elevation and plan view. So this will make it easier to design. I want to scale it quick. So I'm going to just click the scale button, and it's a 60-inch diameter. So I can go click, and then I can drag it over to here and type 60 inches and hit enter. Now that should scale it for me, but I'm just going to measure to verify. And 60 inches is the same as 5 feet, so that is pretty close, so we'll call that good. Okay, so I'm actually going to put this image file into an elevation as well. So I'm going to go to a front elevation and paste this image file in, because I want to be able to draw on top of it, especially in the elevation. Okay. That looks pretty close to centered. Okay, so the table is a 60-inch diameter top with 30 inches high where the top of the table is. So I could start by creating an extrusion for the top. We can see it has a little bit of a curve here on the end. There's a couple of different ways you could achieve that. You could create a blend. A blend will create more of a, it won't be a curved edge, it would be more of an angled edge. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an extrusion, and then I'm going to use a void form to create that curve. First, I just want to verify that this is about 30 inches from the ground. If it's scaled correctly, this is pretty close. So, okay, I'm going to go to my floor plan. I'm going to put this, I guess I don't really need that. I'm going to create an extrusion that is a circle. And I'm going to make this 30-inch diameter or radius. Okay. And I want it to start. Well, actually, I'm going to determine that from the elevation where it starts and ends. I want it to come to the top here, and then I'm just going to bring this to the bottom. Okay, so now I look at the 3D view. I have my tabletop, and that's it for now. Okay. One thing you might want to consider as you're creating your pieces is to add materials as a parametric object, and that will just allow you to edit the materials more easily in the project files. So I'm going to just, when I have my extrusion selected, I'm going to click the button next to the by category, and then I'm going to add a new parameter. And I'm going to call this, I could just call it table material, whatever. So I'm just going to say okay. And now I'm going to go back to my actually I'm going to go to my floor plan and I'm going to create a void form and I'm going to do a void sweep. So I'm going to pick the path because I know that I want my sweep to follow along this circle. And then I want to edit the profile by sketch. So it's asking me to go to an elevation view to edit it, which is fine. I'm going to pick one of these. And now I want to create, ooh, I should have gone to the front elevation. Because I want to create my sweep that follows this curve. Although I like where this one is before. So we're just going to kind of guess. It'll be close enough. So we're going to make that gentle curve here. It wants to snap to. And then we're creating a void. And so I want to tell it where I want that void to be. And this is the part that it's going to cut. Okay. If I do this correctly. Okay. So now when we go back to 3D, it should have that gentle curve. See that right there? See this right here is my void extrusion and how I brought it out just a little bit more and then it goes down. That makes my gentle curve on the table. I did a pretty good job. Not too shabby there. We'll call that good. Okay, so now we can come to make the legs. Now this picture's a little confusing about the legs, so it might be helpful to have the image, like the actual image of the table as a reference here as we're creating our legs. Because I'm trying to think, I want to create them as an overall shape, and then we're going to create a void to take out that section. And you can see that every piece, I don't have a 360 of the table, but every leg has a different height of a void. So this will be interesting to create. So I want to create another extrusion. I think I'm going to create it as an extrusion from the floor plan. And you can see we have a little brass foot here. So I'm going to create most of this leg as a single extrusion, and then I'll create the foot separately. So I want to think about the shape, and I can place it in the correct spot later. So it's sort of like a three-sided piece on the back that connects to a rounded triangle shape on the front, if that makes sense. So I'm going to basically just think about, this is a little hard to kind of picture, but I'm going to think about what that looks like, and I'm going to draw, I'm just kind of trace over this with that angle. And I want to make this angle the exact same. So instead of trying to draw it again, I'm just going to mirror this piece using the center line of this as my axis. Okay, so that's going to be my back, this part. And then the front, I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of draw the triangle. It's almost like a diamond. And actually, we're going to mirror this again. And then we can just get rid of that. But I want to round this. So I'm going to add a little bit of a curve here. And then we'll just use the, oh, that's not really great. Okay. I'm going to use the corner tool to just trim that on both sides. Okay, so now that I've drawn the shape, I'm going to kind of place it on my tabletop that I already have over here. And then we will move it later. So we're going to hit check, and I'm going to go to the front view. There it is. Hey, I placed it pretty well. And there it is in the back. And now we'll look at a 3D view. Oh, I need to flip it around, I think. I have the curve. Oh, no, this is, Need to rotate it a little bit. Okay. It should be right. Oh, I think this curve just looks a little funny. I think it's correct. I want to, one more quickly, I'm going to go ahead and copy this into the left elevation as well so that I can place it uh, over here. Um, so the leg kind of gets placed in the correct spot. Do you see how it's kind of sitting outside of the table area? So I'm just going to nudge this over a little bit until it matches that spot. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to my floor plan and I'm going to use the array tool to create a series of, I think there's 5 or 6 layers. I'm going to do the array. We're going to do 5. We're going to see how 5 looks. Again, I might change it to 6, but we're going to, I want to group and associate them just, no, actually, I'm not going to. And I'm going to move it to the second place. This makes more sense. And I did calculate how many degrees we need because I know I want them to be equidistant. And so if there's a 360-degree circle, I want the second one to be placed at 72 degrees. I just took 360 divided by 5. So I'm going to just click here and drag it over and type 72, enter. And now I have my legs set at a perfect circle around. Now, again, I just want to go back and look at my front elevation. It looks a little chaotic with the picture there. But I want to look at it in 3D too and see how does this look compared to the picture. I feel like maybe it is 6 legs. So typically you would have seen this in person and would know exactly what you're doing. Let's go ahead and I'm just going to delete these and do one more array and I'm going to use 6 legs this time and just, we're going to go with that. And that would be 60 degrees. So I'm going to come over 60. Okay. We'll go with this. I think that looks pretty good. So now we need to create our voids that create sort of these indentations in the leg. And I think what I'm going to have to do is do a rectangle and then do like a semicircle, because if you look at these, they have basically, well, they're actually be like a ball, a sphere up here, and that sphere is like a tube. But the only way that I can think of to do that is to do a rectangle or a kind of a circular extrusion and then add a ball essentially at the top of it. So again, I'm going back to the floor plan. I'm going to go to, I'm going to create a void extrusion. I'm going to basically, from what I can see, it kind of mirrors the shape of the back, but instead of having this angle, it's curved. So I'm just kind of going to do a curve until I feel like it looks good. And I always like to come out a little bit with a void. Oops. Come out of just to make sure like the whole, if you stop it right at the edge, it may not cut the geometry sometimes. Okay, so before I copy this to the other legs, I'm going to give it a whirl. And I'm going to go back to my elevation. There's my void. Now, again, each of these is different height. So I can come up however high I want. And I'm going to change it to hidden line. Now, sometimes it won't cut the geometry for me. And so you may have to manually cut it. But I want to look. Oh, it did. See the 3D? There it is. It cut it. Now we just need to add sort of that ball shape to the top, but I'm first going to copy this void and do the array to the other ones as well. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that void. I'm going to do the array. I'm going to do 6. I'm going to move it to the second. Probably should have done this on the other one. It's good. Let's go back to our 3D view and see, do we have voids on everything? Looks like it. Now I can go back and adjust the heights later, but I'm going to go ahead and do the ball shaped, the sphere shaped one here. And that one, oh, I could have probably done a void revolve for this. Oh, well, there's so many different ways to do these. So a revolve creates, basically it has an axis in the middle, and then it creates it follows it around in a circle. So we're going to do a void revolve. I'm going to do it from the floor plan again. I feel like that's the best bet for me. No, I can't. I have to do it from an elevation. Okay. Void revolve. Now we're going to create, so we have to have the boundary line and the axis line. For our boundary, I should probably be looking at one leg straight on. So I should probably do this from the front elevation. Yeah, right here. Okay, so the boundary, we're going to start right in the middle. No, oh, let me, I gotta restart the revolve. Okay, and I'm going to move this out of the way. So for the boundary, for the axis line, we're going to use this midpoint right here. And the boundary, I want to basically, I'm going to create a perfect sphere. I'm not sure if this is going to be big enough. I should probably measure my, yeah. So do you see, I need this to go all the way, need it to basically follow that shape. So you know what, we're going to redo this. We're going to try it from this angle here. Because I think this will work. Okay. Didn't like that. I'm not sure why that one's showing up with yellow. A little odd. Because when I looked at the 3D, they all cut. No, this one didn't. This is why voids are fun. Sometimes they just decide not to work. There we go. So I had to go and manually cut the geometry. Do you see when I hit this cut button? I started with hitting the leg and then I hit the void and it worked. I don't know why. No idea. Okay, we're gonna go back to this revolve because this is, I'm gonna figure out my radius here. I probably should have done that before. So I'm gonna just do a reference line. And to measure the diameter of this circle. Oh boy. 7 and 165, 256. This is next to impossible to calculate. Okay, great. Learn. Hmm. Oh, probably should have picked an easier thing to model, but I wanted to really show you guys the breadth of tools that are available in Revit. So I picked the hardest possible table to model. It's fine. Okay, let's find our void here. Oh, it was in the middle. Remove this. Pretty close, you guys. It's pretty close. We're gonna call this good, and we're gonna see what this looks like. It might look terrible. Fear this is going to be too big. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. All right. We are pretty close. I think if I just bring it back a little bit. Oh, I didn't like that. Okay. You know what? I think it's pretty good. You might even be able to just this was pretty good. And I think once we render it, it will probably look even better. Now I need to grab that. And again, I'm going to do the array and then I can adjust them up and down as needed. Okay, array 6. I'm going to move the axis to the middle. I'm going to go 60 degrees. And apparently I think it did it on all but one. Again, fabulous. Okay, so we just have to go back and cut the geometry here. So we're going to go cut. We're going to click on the leg. We're going to click on the void and it will cut. Okay, looks pretty good. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed. Okay, so now we can just kind of look at the picture and or even the elevation here. And maybe even bring it back or new closer. And we can eyeball some of these voids. Oh, and we still need to do the little brass feet. Okay, so let's see. We'll bring this one down. And This one, we'll bring it up a little bit. Really kind of tedious. And then this one, we'll bring it down a little bit higher than the other one, maybe there. It doesn't look bad, you guys. Just need to change this side. Yeah, these two are the same. So we'll just kind of randomly pick these since I can't see the back legs. This one a little low. And maybe we can leave that one as is. Okay, let's look at it. 3D. Guys, are you impressed? Stay. Okay, so all we have to do is make these little brass feet. I'm going to do another extrusion from the floor plan. I'm basically just going to take this little shape here and copy it. I'm going to use the offset tool and create an extrusion. I'm going to use the offset here. I'm going to make it like an eighth. No, what do you think? Maybe a quarter of an inch? We'll see if that's too much. And we're going to use this line picker tool. See how it comes in just a little bit there? We'll trim it. Click on the part of the line you want to keep. Trims. Okay, now this one, we want to make the material different because it's brass. So we'll call this brass feet. Now we haven't assigned any materials yet, but now at least we have the ability to. So again, we'll go to the front here and we're going to bring this down. Okay, close. And then we just have to bring all of these up a little bit to the top of that one. And then we just have to do our array and adjust all of the other feet. We're almost done. Let's save this. Yeah, that would be good. I'm going to call this, what is this guy called? Fountain Round Table. Okay, I'm going to put this in my side box. Under my Revit family files. And we're going to find the correct folder even. Sure. I don't think I have. We have the, oh, we do have tables. Okay. Just going to grab this extrusion. I'm going to do the array tool again. I'll change that to 6. I'm going to move my axis to the spot there, go over 60 degrees. Okay. Now we just need to modify our feet in each side. And I have to bring the void up too, because I don't want the void to take away from the feet. Just switch these different sides. Those all look maybe good. It's so hard to tell when it's in wireframe. You can't really see what you're working with. See there? No. Up. And the wood might be okay, but I don't want to risk it. I think it looks good. Oh, no, there's one right here. Not to that one. So now let's create some materials. So we have the materials in the parameters. Sorry, family types. There we go. So now we can go ahead and just create the appropriate materials. And this is, oh, the feet are brass. So I'm going to create a new material. I'm going to call this brass feet. I'm going to search in the asset browser for brass. And I want this to be satin. I think that looks pretty good. And the table material, we can make it this dark wood. We'll see what we find. Oak to me. I would say this is probably red oak to me. So I'm going to pick the wood. No, I don't want that one. I want that heavy grain appearance. That might be okay. Yeah, I think that's going to be our best bet. It has a relief pattern, so it will have that texture to it. And now we're going to want to add, ooh, this one doesn't have the tint though. Use this one. See, now I have the option for tint. So I'm going to try to find one that has a grain and a tint. I really want that oak look. I could find a different picture, but then it wouldn't match the bump, and that's not what we want. Striking out here, guys. Brushed walnut, maybe. This one doesn't have a tint option, but I could at least get a more similar color. Oh, here. That one doesn't have a relief pattern. You may just have to go with a white oak. Let's see. We'll go through the lines. This. Okay, we're just gonna go with white oak. It's not gonna be as pretty grain wise, but we can stain it. So I can pick like a darker kind of stain color. It's very red. That's green. Now the stain doesn't make it actually very dark at all. So I typically will come in with a tint as well in a similar tone. And then sometimes you have to kind of overcorrect and make it a bit darker than you think. Look how red that is. It's really red. So to counteract the red, we are going to make it more green. Color theory. That's pretty good. That looks nice. Okay. So I'm going to hit OK. Okay. And now we can look at it in a realistic view. Oh, there's our table. Let's say that's color-wise not amazing and grain-wise also not amazing, but as far as the shape goes, I think we did pretty well. Maybe should we do a quick draft render to see what it looks like rendered? Let's open a file with stuff in it. We'll put this table in and see how it looks. Oh, we'll just pop it in here. I'm gonna delete this table quick. Move this over. It doesn't really fit here, but at least we can get an idea of what that looks like in a quick rendering. Oof, it's a rough looking picture there, but I just want to see. Actually, I want the brass feet to be visible too. So I'm gonna delete this chair quick. There we go. Okay. Sorry, it's slow, but I think that looks pretty good. I don't want to put a lot of glossiness on there, but you can see, you don't see that line that you could see in the family file in this table. I think this is looking really good. I'm really pleased with how this came out, considering I hadn't practiced at all. I think it looks pretty good. So that is modeling furniture and assigning materials. So I hope that's helpful and I wish you luck in your renderings.